In today's video, I'll be showing you how I drafted this simple basic pencil skirt and how to sew it. Also, I'll be showing you how I joined the lining to the fabric to make the inside and the outside very neat. Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is Sew with Oma. Without wasting much time, let's dive into today's video. To sew this basic skirt, we'll be needing a length measurement, a hip line, a band circumference, which can also be called the waist circumference. Would also be needing a hip circumference and an apex, which is the nipple to nipple. With all these measurements in place, the next thing we want to do is to start drafting our vertical measurement, which is our length. For me, my length is 21. Don't forget the 2 inches for seam allowance. Also, we're going to be taking the hip line or the hip length. After marking out all your vertical measurements, the next thing I just did was to roll a line across and name the hip line the mark our circumference measurement, and we'll be starting first with our band measurement. So you'll be dividing your band measurement by 4 and just mark it. Your hip measurement also you divide by 4 and mark it. For the knee circumference, usually what I do is to take my band measurement divided by 4 and just add half an inch. You can decide to add 1 inch or you just leave it as half an inch. So after getting all my circumference measurement, the next thing I did was just to connect all. This is what it looks like after connecting, and so we're going to take that measurement, and that would be our apex measurement divided by 2. My apex measurement divided by 2 is 4. So from my hip line, I'm going to measure up by 2 inches and just roll a line across. That will be where the dart will stop. The dart is going to start from the edge of my pattern paper, which is the baseline, and stop just on the line that I ruled now. So I'm just going to rule a line across from my apex measurement that I divided by 2 and just name it that line. The next thing I did was to take half an inch measurement on both sides of the apex line and rule a slanted line to form a triangular shape down to the dart line, if you get what I mean. From our seam allowance, I just took quarter of an inch and connected the line to the length of the skirt. Because the skirt is a pencil skirt, we need ease at the knee region. This will just serve as ease on the knee. If you want more ease, you can always increase it by half of an inch instead of quarter of an inch. The next thing I did was just to mark our dart line. We're not going to cut this out. I'm just marking it to indicate that we're going to sew down that part. So the next thing I did was to add the 1 inch I removed for the dart, and I connected it like so to the hip, and then I added 1 inch seam allowance. On our zipper allowance, we're going to indicate our 1 inch so we can sew on it. After doing that, we're going to measure from the baseline 6 inches down. And from our seam allowance at the length, we're going to measure 8 inches up. From where the 6 inches stopped at, we're going to sew from there to where our 8 inches stopped at the down part. We're also going to do the same thing on our lining. The next thing I did was to mark our 1 inch seam allowance from our side front and side back and sew together. So we'll be joining the front and the back together and sewing out the 1 inch seam allowance before joining with the lining. Just to be sure that what you sewn is your actual measurement, you may need to test the skirt because we'll be using the lining to cover up all the seams. Just like the actual fabric, we're also going to do the same thing on the lining. We'll be marking out our 1 inch seam. After joining the hem of the fabric and lining together, the next thing we want to do is to measure our 2 inch seam allowance and fold it up towards the lining. After folding it up, we now want to close the back zipper allowance, if you understand what I mean. We want to close the back zipper allowance so that when we turn it to the front, it's going to be covered and very neat. I took half an inch from the length of the skirt up, and towards the zipper side, I continued with 1 inch. The reason why I continued with 1 inch at the zipper side is because of the zip, so that it covers the edges of the zip and give it a clean and neat finishing. After sewing on both sides of the zipper allowance, the next thing I did was just to turn the fabric to the front and give it a good pressing. You want to give your skirt a good pressing, and then you do the last and final fitting before we can fix our band. When you have ensured that your skirt fits perfectly, the next thing you want to do is to lock the baseline of your lining to fabric together. Time to fix our band. What we want to do is to sew the edge of the band together, that's locking it in. And so we're going to fold in half an inch on one side and leave the other side open, because we'll be sewing on the other side that we left open. Close up the joining and turn your skirt to the lining side. Turn the skirt to the lining side. We are going to start our sewing from the lining side. After sewing on the lining side, we'll flip over to the fabric and then just top stitch on the band. At this point, you can cut off the excess zip from the fabric. By the time you're done joining the band, you have extras. From that extra, you're going to measure from the zipper side out about 1.5 inches. When you cut that out, you join with the half-inch and leave about 1 inch for the hook and eye. When you've done that, the next thing to do is just to top stitch on the band. So we're using a tiny band, and so we'll be using hook and eye for this band. It's time to fix our hook and eye, and so I'm going to show you this. When you want to fix your hook and eye, please do not pass the needle out to your band so that threads would not be showing on the outside. So you're just going to neatly pick the inside of your band and pass it to your looks like. It looks really beautiful and well finished. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video interesting and very informative, do not forget to subscribe. Please like, share and comment in the comment section. If you have any question at all, let me know in the comment section. Do not forget to turn on your notification bell so whenever I post a new video, you will not be the last to get it. Thank you so much for watching. Till we see you in the next video. Bye.